Today, we're going to talk about motivation, more specifically, what to do when you're not feeling motivated or you're feeling just a little bit like you're in a rut. And what do you do with that feeling and how do you get out of it? So, I'm going to share some tips with you because I've personally felt a little unmotivated and in a rut lately. And I'm going to share with you exactly what I have done and will continue to do to make sure that I keep myself in check and what I do to work on my own mental health. So welcome to today's video. My name is Ann Parham. I'm the creator of the online course and community, the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman. If you watched my latest video, you know at the end of that video, I shared with you that March 2025 will be the last group Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course that I will run. I have been running that course now for 8 consecutive years. I think the March class will be the 96th consecutive month that we have run that course. Now, I'm not walking away from intermittent fasting. I'm not walking away from talking about it. I'm going to continue to intermittent fast because it's just part of my lifestyle and who I am. But I'm just not going to be running a monthly course anymore because I have some new opportunities that I have been presented with and some new ways to help women here in our community. So I will be doing a transition into those things, and I'll share a little bit more with you on those things in some upcoming videos. But for now, if you are interested in jumping into our last group coaching program for the Intermittent Fasting for Today's Aging Woman course, I would highly recommend clicking the link below, or you can click the card that I will share with you right here. Get on my email list so you'll be emailed on when you can join us for our last class. So what do we do when we're feeling like we're in a rut or we're unmotivated or we're stuck? What I always like to do is start with trying to figure out why I am feeling that way or where those feelings are coming from. And I know for me, it's usually something external. So something that's going on outside of me that's creating thoughts in my brain that are making me feel unmotivated or discouraged. Oftentimes it's just an energy suck or an energy drain or something that I'm feeling some conflict with or something. And so in today's world, we're in February 2025, there is a lot of that going on. And I am just one of those types of personalities that really feels that personally. So I really have to be aware of what I'm exposing myself to and where I'm spending my time, especially when I start to get into this rut or feeling really unmotivated. And so I shared a little box on my Instagram asking for help. And so that would be the first thing that I would say to do is after you've figured out where the source is that's causing you to feel this way. And again, it's usually because of thoughts you have in your head. Ask for help. Ask for advice from other people who may have some experience in it. And that's what I'm going to share with you today. And that did come from a comment on my Instagram. And it said, talk about when we or you don't have any motivation. Is it okay to lean into it or what to do? So I personally don't like to lean into being unmotivated or into that feeling of being stuck. I like to get out of it as soon as I have identified what the source is. And if it is really external and the thoughts that are going on in my head and causing that feeling are things that are probably not even in my control. And that's the case with a lot of people today. Like I said, a lot of things are going on in the world that aren't really in our control and they're making us feel a certain way because they're creating these thoughts in our brain. After I've reached out and, asked for some help, some motivational insight or inspiration, I really like to create a list of how I can really take care of me. And I call this being selfish first. So what I like to do is lean in hard to being selfish. And what selfish means to me is making sure I'm getting quality sleep, making sure I'm not sitting around watching too much downer TV, or making sure I'm not mindlessly scrolling on my phone too much, which can also be, a source of creating those thoughts and feelings in our brain, watching what other people are doing or what other people are thinking about things that are going on. I make sure that I'm working out consistently because working out for me is the number one tool that I have in my tool chest that really does make me feel better. So I'm making sure that I am very diligent about my workouts. I'm also making sure that I'm very diligent about taking my daily supplements because again, working out and taking my supplements create an opportunity for my body to have everything that it needs to feel good. And so when I'm not feeling my best, I really lean hard into doing very specific things to have the opportunity to feel my best. I make sure that my nutrition is on point. So I don't give into that unconscious, mindless, self-sabotaging type of eating where you're just eating so you don't have to feel. I'm very conscious about the food choices that I'm making, and I'm very, very diligent in the choices that I'm making so that I have the opportunity to feel energized, so I have the opportunity to feel optimistic, and I have the opportunity to look and feel my best. Because when I am looking and feeling my best, I really have that chance of showing up knowing that I've got my own back and I don't have to worry about depending on anybody else for that. I also make sure that I'm diving into a motivational, personal development, whatever, however you want to describe it, podcasts or YouTube videos. And I also make sure that I have a good book on hand. This is the book that I am currently reading. I'll put a link down below if you want to check it out. It's a really easy read, super motivating, super inspiring and uplifting. And so I always make sure that I have my head in one of those kind of books, because if I let external negativity create these unmotivating and uninspired thoughts in my head, which create those feelings, what if I put different thoughts in my head just because I'm exposing myself to different things? That's where really good motivational podcasts or YouTube videos come in handy. That's where really good positive or motivational books come in handy, because now you've just changed the dialogue in your own head and you've created an opportunity to think positively. And when we think positively, we feel like showing up in a positive way. And we show up in a positive way, we tend to be more motivated and we don't feel like we're in a rut. If you're in a place where you're feeling unmotivated or you are feeling like you're in that rut, we also just want to acknowledge the fact that that's okay. It happens. We're human beings. But if that's not serving you and you don't like the way you show up in that feeling, then it is really in your best interest to put some things in place to make those changes. And that's exactly what I have done. I'm in a completely different place today than I was last week at this very same time, simply because I did exactly what I shared with you today. I figured out where the source of negativity was coming from that was making me think unmotivating things and feeling in an unmotivated way. I asked for help. I've leaned into my exercise. I've leaned into my supplements. I've leaned into my nutrition. I've leaned into sleep. I've leaned into getting a new book to read. And I've leaned into reaching out to very positive influences so that I could change the dialogue that was going on in my own head. I think this is really important, especially today and especially for women, to make sure we are checking who it is and where it is we are spending our time, our resources, and our energy. And if the places that you're spending your time, your resources, and your energy are leaving you feeling less than your best, it's time to make a change. And then we have to make sure that we're spending some time really trusting ourselves and knowing what works for us. I don't spend a whole lot of time beating myself up in seasons of feeling down or feeling unmotivated. I just give myself the space and the grace that I need while I'm doing the checklist and while I'm making the changes, because I know it's just a matter of days before everything will change for me and get back to the happy and motivated place that I really do thrive in. So don't beat yourself up. Give yourself some space and grace. Know that it happens. We're human beings. But if you have identified that unmotivated feeling and that uninspired feeling as being something that's not working for you, then you owe it to yourself to make the change. Life is short and life is great. We don't want to spend our time in negativity if that's not serving us. So it is okay to seek out help. It is okay to seek out resources, and it is totally okay to seek out change. I hope you made a list of some things that you can do for yourself when you're not feeling motivated or you're feeling like you're in a rut. You are in control of the outcome of your own life. It's proactive, it is very specific, and you have to be conscious about where it is you're showing up in order to make these changes. Once you've really put your mindset into that place, the changes will fall into place and you'll notice a significant change in how it is you're showing up within a matter of days. Thanks for tuning in today. I hope this has helped you. Know, like I said, it's a really weird time for everyone right now, and there is a lot of negativity going around, but that doesn't mean that you have to live there. You can create your own positive space and thrive there just as easily. Like I said, if you're interested in joining us for our March 2025 final group coaching class for the intermittent fasting for today's aging woman, you can find information here and as always in the description box below. Again, I am not leaving intermittent fasting. As a matter of fact, I'm leaning in extra hard to my fasting as well as I'm navigating all the changes that are going on in the world and some of the things that are happening in our own life and our own family. And I recommend you do the same. The best place to learn that would be in class.